Greetings, family, and welcome to another edition of Black Talk Radio, where black media matters and black life certainly matters. Today is Sunday, July 22nd, 2018. Family, this video is of a white businessman, and I use that word lightly, who spit in the face of a black man just doing his job. A businessman spit in the face of Ibrahim Mission's face on July 17, 2018. That's right, we're not talking about 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. We're talking about this year. Well, maybe these instances were always the norm, but thanks to cell phones and courage, people are fighting back. Now, a day later, Ibrahim Mission was still stunned, still angry, but he's still composed. While Mission was providing security third Tuesday for a gathering of social justice and community leaders in Eastern Market, Detroit, Robert Stanzler, owner of the Detroit Mercantile company next door, was upset that some participants were parking on his property and told Mission to stop them. When Mission told Stanzler to take it up with the building owner, Stanzler jabbed his middle finger in the air and spat on Mission's face. So, of course, it doesn't take much to find out who these racists are. Of course, I was able to easily find a picture of him, and this is what Robert Stanzler looks like, the owner of the Eastern Market in Detroit. I'm sorry, it's called the Detroit Mercantile Company, which was next door to the event of where this situation took place. But nonetheless, this is the white racist right here. So yeah, this is the degenerate that complained because people next door, some of the participants, were parking on his property, and instead of him dealing with it appropriately, like, well, if you were so butthurt about it, you would have gotten on the phone like Permit Patty and some of the other white fragile racists like yourself. You would have gotten on the phone and called the police. But instead, this little degenerate decided to hold his middle finger up at the black man and then spit in his face. That's what this degenerate did. But I digress. Let's move on. Well, family, the heinous act occurred at an event space called the Eastern, which abuts the back of Stanzler's store. The DOC Society, which is a non-profit that connects filmmakers to groups whose work might make good documentaries, hosted the event. And one of its founders said she couldn't believe what she seen. Quote, "That was outrageously disgusting behavior and completely unnecessary," said Maxine Franklin, 44, who added that her group was already moving the cars. Robert Stanzler didn't use a racial slur, but whatever issues Robert had with the business owner, and the business owner is a white gentleman, I can't imagine Robert would have spit in his face. Well, that's a true statement. As a matter of fact, that statement is usually the telltale of proving when a person is actually racist or not, if they would actually do it to their own. Anyways, police were summoned. 2 officers responded right away, and 4 more came later. Stanzler was arrested for simple assault, taken to the Detroit Detention Center, and was released Wednesday, said a Detroit police spokesman. The investigation is continuing, police said. But Il Weaver, founder, director of Detroit Narrative Agency, which was one of the event's local partners, said no charge was enough. Quote, "We've been organizing this event for 6 months, Weaver said of the Good Pitch gathering, whose partners include the FREEP, that's F-R-E-E-P, FREEP Film Festival. Quote, so for this man to do this in front of people from around the world when we're trying to get people to support Detroit was horrible. This was an important community event. We really need to boycott his business because that is the way you hold somebody like him accountable. Exactly. Well, the backlash, and what's funny is Carhartt, they cut their ties with the Detroit Mercantile over the spitting incident. So this man, Robert Stanzler, he's already lost business and he's going to continue losing business. You can guarantee that. Well, family, owners of the Eastern released a statement Wednesday expressing concern for Mission, who works for them, and their guests, calling Stanzler's actions insulting. As you can see here, he is using his middle finger to communicate something. Quote, we won't tolerate or condone this kind of behavior, the statement said. So, Stanzler himself issued an apology late Wednesday, calling his own actions unconscionable, offensive, and disrespectful. Quote, I want to express my deepest apology to Mr. Ibrahim Mission for the incident that occurred on Tuesday, July 17th, 2018, during the course of an argument I had with him over parking spaces at my place of business in Eastern Market. I take full responsibility for my actions, and I want to convey regret for my gross and despicable behavior during the course of my argument with Mr. Mission. Stanzler said, quote, anger over a growing conflict pertaining to parking spaces between a neighboring business got the best of me. I attempted to address the matter with Mr. Mission, but things quickly escalated and I lashed out. My behavior was unconscionable, offensive, and disrespectful. Not only did I offend Mr. Mission by my actions, but I owe an apology to those who witnessed the incident, my staff, fellow business owners in Eastern Market, residents of Detroit, and friends and family who may bear this burden with me. Well, let me just state this for the record that spitting Stanzler should have, again, called the police if he had real concerns, and then also to be so concerned over some parking spaces. What happened was he probably saw a group of black folks and he didn't like it, and so he was just showing his natural behavior. The story continues. What I can't figure out is why Stanzler, whom we'll call hashtag spitting Stanzler, thought spitting in the face of a man just doing his job was a good idea. What I can't figure out is how people like Stanzler are being welcomed in Detroit. This is not Stanzler's first time in the news. In 2014, Stanzler was featured in Crain's Detroit after he split with his former partners Robert Jameson and his wife Sherry over creative differences. I wonder whether it involved spitting in someone's face when you disagreed with them. Stanzler expanded Mercantile from 1,000 square feet to 12,500 square feet with event space. According to Crain's, the store vowed to focus on regional and American antiques and Michigan wares that could not be bought online. It also says, we aren't really rules kind of people, but there are a few things we should probably get straight with everyone. No, Stanzler, there is something we should get straight with you. Yes, you are part of the new migration into Detroit. Wealthy, mostly white suburbanites seeking opportunities denied to black residents for years. And that was suburbanites. My bad. Opportunities they still must fight for now. But we have some rules too. Your love of Detroit may be unequaled, as you say, but to love Detroit means you love Detroiters. And your hateful, despicable behavior doesn't show love for the meaning of, residents of, or definition of the Detroit we're trying to build. So why don't you take your vintage wares and your heinous attitude back where you came from before you decided that a neighborhood so belonged to you that you could literally spit in the face of someone with whom you disagree. I can get my vintage goods at Shinola's or the Peacock Room. We don't need you. Detroit must have a zero tolerance policy on this kind of hate, and the only thing that appears to be vintage about you is that you might want to bring back something else vintage, behavior that was once allowed with and without hoods, and we're not having it. So family, for Mr. Ibrahim Mission, I give you major kudos for showing your humanity, for showing your civility, for showing that you are a civilized human being, even in the face of creatures who try to step and stomp on your liberties and on your freedoms. Thank you for showing him what being a true man looks like. This is Guru at Black Talk Radio. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you in the next video. And hopefully, these type of situations we deal with appropriately. And so, ending this video, let me state this for the record. Family and friends, and those of you watching this YouTube video, we need to boycott the Detroit Mercantile Company. We need to not buy any of their goods, and this company here needs to be shut down. There is no place in American society where my ancestors built this nation to be great for people like him to come along and F it up. We're tired of that, and as the article stated at the very end, we're simply not having it. So boycott this Detroit clothing store. Boycott the Detroit Mercantile Company. Boycott Robert Spitting Stanzler. Peace out.